It was news to me that Mario was also the CEO of a toy factory. Perhaps the digital version of the amiibo. That wasn't the reason I played the game, but rather my desire to understand why it is often talked about with some nostalgia in podcasts associated with Nintendo. The reason now seems clear to me. Mario vs Donkey Kong is an explosion of fun which ends almost as soon as it starts. Mario vs Donkey Kong is a 2D puzzle platformer game, a remake of the original game that was released in 2004 for the Game Boy Advance, but with the now traditional graphical improvement for the cartoon style so typical of this Switch generation. Something that, like I never get tired of saying it, I love it. Despite the plethora of different Nintendo exclusives, it will be virtually impossible to dissociate the brand from games for the whole family. And in fact, as soon as my youngest daughter looked at the game, she asked to play with me. And that's how I realized that playing with two people, you can cheat a lot, shortcutting your way through different puzzles. It was difficult for me to understand what difference Mario vs Donkey Kong can bring to the table when Nintendo has, for example, games like Super Mario Maker, capable of making levels like this and much more. And I ended up not having an obvious answer to this question, since the story here is superficial and the cinematic moments short and mostly repetitive, and although with a gradual increase in complexity, it never reaches the level of Super Mario Maker. There is, however, a better combination of levels, with blocks of 6 for each themed world, in addition to a level that plays like a Lemmings game. I mean, there is a set of little toys that follow us and we have to guide them throughout the different obstacles until we can save them all, and a level in which we try to get a key that allows us to open a chest to gain some extra lives. There is also a battle with Donkey Kong in each world, in which we have to dodge multiple objects that he throws at us until we are able to hit him back. Mario vs Donkey Kong is a short game. It has 8 worlds, each of which takes about 1 hour to complete. After completing the story mode, we unlock 2 new, much more complex worlds and new game modes. Now, to be more specific, each level is based on 3 color puzzles, where by selecting a color we activate blocks of that same color, deactivating the blocks of the others. Little by little they introduce new mechanics that make each level more challenging, be it more verticality, enemies that pushes us, rolling platforms that rotate in different directions, where changing that directions is essential for completing each level, blocks that have to be destroyed with bombs, the use of which is a puzzle within the puzzle itself, or just enemies that want to eat us. Visualizing each level correctly helps a lot in finding the solution for it, but this is not always obvious, which does not imply that the levels are difficult to solve. Most of the time doing what we can do ends up being enough to reveal how to beat them. I finished the game without knowing exactly how to solve 1 or 2 puzzles, and I only managed to overcome them because the difference between the difficulty of the levels only differs from the lowest to the highest one, in having checkpoints and unlimited time to solve them. These checkpoints can be used as if they were an exploit, as we can fail a few times in each level, returning to the previous checkpoint as a penalty. But this recall can be beneficial for us, as sometimes resolving a level involves some backtracking, and to perform this action sporadically, it is better to try a jump and fail, returning to the previous checkpoint, than to repeat an entire section of the level. All levels are original and fun, and we rarely feel like we are repeating mechanics. The controls are precise, and this contributes to the fact that Mario doesn't have that slight slide at the end of each jump, like he does in some other games. But the game seems designed to be played with a D-pad and not with a Joy-Con. At least I ended up playing it mostly in docked mode with the Pro Controller, which, even so, didn't eliminate all the problems in recognizing a command. especially when we needed to jump and grab something, an action that the game didn't always accept correctly. The game ended up quite quickly, I have to admit, which doesn't mean that it wasn't very fun while I played it. With the 2 new worlds unlocked after completing the campaign and the new modes, it certainly offers between 10 and 12 hours of content, excluding the time spent playing with a friend. Even not being the best game I've ever played with Mario, Mario vs Donkey Kong is an easy recommendation for anyone who wants to have fun alone or with a friend. See you next time, guys. Bye!